When Habitat for Humanity was founded in 1976, Millard Fuller dreamed of a world where everyone had a safe, decent place to live. His vision of a community coming together to build safe, decent, affordable homes to sell to low-income families inspired a group of people in central Minnesota to form a local chapter of Habitat for Humanity in 1989. Thus began 25 years of building memories. The first home was built and sold to Amy Ingebrigtsen and her family in 1990.
I became involved in Habitat 25 years ago, right when it was starting. I had just quit my full-time job to stay home with our kids. And I just found I wanted to do something else. It must have been an ad in the paper I saw about them just coming to St. Cloud looking for people who wanted to help start it up. So I went to the meetings, and it really sounded like something I wanted to get involved in, that it wouldn't be just sitting in meetings saying this is what needs to be done in the community, but would really get in there and affect families that were in need. And I saw Habitat as an organization that was really striving to meet the goals of making housing affordable. I was on the family selection committee for the first families. The mother I had interviewed was accepted, and I was able to go tell her. And she had me come in. It was kind of late at night, and she said, "Oh, come in for a while," which kind of surprised me. And she's, "Here's some coffee. Have a cup of coffee." So I sat there for a while, and it was just wonderful. Her dreams just started going. And I found out later, she said, "Well, I had you for coffee because I knew if I got up the next morning and there were coffee cups there, then I knew it was true and that I wasn't just dreaming it." Those first years when I worked with families, I learned so much from them. The first family I worked with and got to know, she said she was in her house then. They had moved in, but volunteers were still working outside on the yard. And she said one of her little kids said to her one day, "What do you think God looks like, Mom?" And she took him to the window and said, "That's what God looks like," looking at the volunteers. So it was that type of stuff, receiving back from the families.
We can't wait for our new home!
Well, I got involved right after I retired, which is about 14 years ago. And it just looked like a good organization that helped people. I like working with Habitat because you can see what you accomplish to quite an extent. Plus you meet a lot of nice people, really great people. Some of my best friends now are people that I've met through Habitat. And I've gotten more out of Habitat than I've ever put into it. So it's helped a lot of people because they're up in some 80 houses now, I think. Because of Habitat helping them out, they're doing real well. And that's what I like to see, making successful families out of people that were probably to no cause of their own or just having some problems. And enough help to just give them a little boost. And they can go on and enjoy life like they should be.
Over the past 25 years, Habitat has partnered with 83 families throughout central Minnesota, including 4 families working toward their dream of homeownership this year. No two families are the same, but all of them have one thing in common: a dream of a better life and safe, decent, affordable housing.
He already had 3 children of his own, and I had 1. We have been together for over 8 years now. We ended up getting pregnant. Our twin daughters are now going to be a year on the 11th. We ended up applying for Habitat. His sister actually mentioned it to us because she's been with us through the struggles and trying to help us out as well. And we ended up just filling out an application to see where it went. And now we're here.
My experience so far with Habitat has been very awesome. Learned lots on the construction site and through homeowners education classes. And sweat equity hours is time you put into help building your home and learning about the process. It seems like it's overwhelming to do, but it's an incredible process.
Just meeting so many people that are just so willing to help others.
Jim is a local site supervisor. I mean, that man is unbelievable. And the amount of hours he puts in and the dedication that I see with him, that man's awesome.
In Stearns County, a person making $8 an hour would need to work 72 hours per week to afford a decent, safe 2-bedroom apartment. That means that many families are stuck choosing between paying for shelter or paying for food, clothing, healthcare, education, and other basic needs. For every 100 low-income families seeking affordable housing, there are only 29 units available. That means we have a lot of work to do looking ahead to the next 25 years.
I first got involved with Habitat for Humanity through my church. I thought it sounded interesting, so I signed up and had a great time. I think I was drawn to work with Habitat for Humanity just because it was a hands-on, really doing something physical instead of not really being engaged. But this was a chance to really get engaged, and the whole idea of actually helping a family in need was very attractive and compelling. When we're at a dedication and I see the big sign up front and I see how many groups from the community have come together to build this house. And it's kind of overwhelming just to see this incredible list of diverse organizations and individuals and people that have really made this come together and made this happen. And I'm really excited about how Habitat is going to impact future generations, to have a solid foundation and a place to kind of sort through life, and life is hard enough, but for them to have a fresh place and a solid foundation to figure out their lives and their future careers and education, I think it's really going to have a long-term effect on those lives. So many families that are working families just need an affordable, decent place to live, and I think Habitat can make that impact.
It's going to be wonderful just to see my kids run in and choose their bedrooms, and just to see what's going to come out of them.
It's going to bring us closer. I mean, not having the distance of 2 separate homes. The biggest thing I'm looking forward to is we all can sit down and have dinner together at one table versus our little small table, and we all take turns eating, or half eats in the kitchen, the other half eats in the living room.
We get to be a family again, just to be together. So I think getting involved with Habitat was one of the best things that's ever happened. Without Habitat, I don't know, we would still be struggling. It would still be stressful. We wouldn't know where we were going, how we were going to take the next step. There'd be no way for us to live together. There's no way we'd be able to afford a new home for us all to live in. I would like to say thank you to everybody that's put any time into trying to get our family together. Not only our family, but the next family also.
I'd like to see more homes being built every year. You know, if we can build 5 or 6 or 7 homes a year on a consistent basis, that's just that many more families that are going to be impacted.
Like a dream that's coming true that we never thought would ever happen. You know, with current financial situations and things like that, was something that I would never believe I would ever be able to own my own home. Thank you. It's wonderful.